Hello everyone, can you hear me? Okay, that's good. So we wait a little more. The time here is 2011. So I will start by apologizing for being about 5 minutes late. So because I had to excuse myself from another meeting. So currently we are trying to round off our own studies. Then we are working on thesis and then some other courses. So I had to take permission from the meeting purposely for this. So we can give 4 more minutes and then we start by 2015. So meanwhile, now you can gather your questions while I try to answer them. We are also supposed to have another SI scholar here. So let's see if he is already here. Celestine, are you here? Indicate so that at least I know. Okay, I think it's now time. From my time here, it is 2015. So before I start taking your questions and probably try to attempt them, there is something I want to talk about first as a sort of introduction. So as most of us already know, my name is Iken Namba from Nigeria. So I currently study solar energy engineering at Dalarna University, Sweden. And by the grace of God, I am also an SI scholar from 2020 set. So my set was 2009-2020 set. So, and over the years from our own time till now, I realized that a lot of things have changed. And that is the reason why it is very, very important for you to, stay abreast with the happenings. It is also important to read instructions because those of us that applied before now could see that some things changed in the instruction. So first of all, I want to talk about the changes made on the countries. When we applied in 2020, there were some other countries that applied with us, which they called the Balkans. So the Balkans, include people from Albania and so on and so forth. So, but last year, being 2021, for those that, joined us last year, when they were applying, the Balkans have been removed. So, and the reason they gave for removing them was that they, don't usually get enough applications from these countries. So there is no need keeping them. So they have to remove them. Then this year again, that happens to be your own set. The remaining countries will discover that they merged everyone together. So because previously South Africans, apply differently, and those people from South Africa are not usually asked to upload some documents. There are some particular documents which they might not upload if they want. So unlike now. So but recently, all of them have been merged. The South Africans, the Nigerians, Ghanaians, Cameroonians, all other countries. If you are from South Africa, you need to know that the rules are no more as it used to be, because you are now expected to upload both work experience form, the leadership experience form, then your references and all that, just like every other person. But before now, there are some documents that were optional for South Africans. So you need to be aware of these changes. So also, like I mentioned ab initio, the instructions, I also realized that they made some updates. So you have to read the instructions, to be aware of these changes, because if you applied last year and now hope to use the same instruction or what you already know to apply again this year, then it might be a problem for you to meet up the new instructions. Also, I noticed that a lot of people have been talking about the proof of work and leadership experience. So people do say, please, can you make a video on the proof of work and leadership experience form, how to fill them? Then I went through the proof of work and leadership experience form, and I discovered that there is nothing much to be talked about there, and hence the reason why I didn't give it more time on my YouTube video, because actually there is a place I talked about proof of work and leadership experience in my YouTube video. I think I talked about something like that, but I didn't talk much about it because there were nothing much to talk about. So it is literally empty. All you need to put there is just your details, then the details of the person, that is your contact person in your organization, so the position of the person, and then possibly your roles in the company. So of course anybody that is working or that worked in a company should be able to know the roles he or she played in that particular company. So it is individual specific. So depending on your situation and your company, then you will be able to fill it. So that's why I didn't waste much time on that particular forms. So but probably maybe what they meant, I will still bring out time to talk more on the letters of references. But for the proof of work experience and leadership experience form, I don't think there is anything much to say. So having said this, I now try to take your questions. Celestine, are you here? Indicate if you are here, please. So one person said, hello, how will a student use knowledge and experience from Sweden after returning to the home country? How should we explain this in the motivation letter? Okay, Ibrahim, thank you for your question. This question doesn't have a specific answer because, just like I said, this is individual specific. So, but there is a problem many people, a mistake many people make when trying to answer these particular questions. So I have gone through several essays and motivations, and I see that people, when they want to answer these questions, they will always come in the direction of, trying to get job or the stuffs like that. I have said this times and times again. So when you show them that your studies is just to possibly start looking for job, then they won't see you as, remember the name of the scholarship, they call it SISGP, which simply means Swedish Institute Scholarship for Global Professionals. So that word, global professionals, should be able to tell you that the people intended, that this scholarship is intended for, are not those looking for employment, rather those who are already employed or who have their own companies. So your answer should be, if you are already employed, how will you use this your new knowledge that you hope to gain in Sweden to promote your company where you are working? Then if you own your own company, how do you hope to use this knowledge gained to improve your own company? So that is what they intend to see or they intend to read, and not you trying to tell them that you hope to get job. So if you don't have job already, then that means you are not a professional. So, and you have already disqualified yourself even without them reading further. So please try to avoid using the words, I will try to get job and then do this and do that. No. So I think that is one point I will mention, Ibrahim. So I hope this will help. So another person says, is it compulsory that the page number must reflect on the, excuse me, is it compulsory that the page number must reflect on the SI form for uploading? I am asking because I noticed that in the SI work experience forms I printed out, the page numbers did not reflect. Well, this question, I am even confused because the page number is supposed to reflect when you print out. So maybe it is either the ink of the printer is fainty and then the page numbers didn't appear due to the color of the text. So, but then I don't think it should have any effect on your applications. So the page numbers there is just to track your paginations. I don't think it should have any serious consequences. So in fact, as a matter of fact, although what I am about to say now is based solely on my personal opinion, I think you should be more concerned on the content of your application documents than the page numbers, provided you make sure you don't remove it yourself. If you are not the one that removed it and then you printed it out and it didn't show, personally, I don't think they should have any effect on your applications. They won't disqualify you if you submitted a strong application just because the page numbers didn't show. So this is my, own understanding of the fact, and I think that's what it should be. It shouldn't have any serious consequences if only you submitted a strong applications. The reference letter seems you have to stamp at the bottom, but where exactly at the bottom, please? Okay, Prince. If I remember correctly, at the bottom of the reference letter, you will see where they say the sign stamp. Let me try to open mine and then quickly see. But I am very, very sure there is a place provided for this. But then I want to be specific. Let me see what they wrote there and then okay, Prince, if you go to your reference letter, you will see where they said at the bottom, you see date and place in brackets, city, country, signature of referee. This, in my own document, this is written on the left hand side at the bottom. Then if you go to the right hand side, you see official stamp of the referred organization or notary office. So you have to, follow the format. At that left hand side where they say date, place and whatever, signature, then you have to, the referee has to sign and then date and also write the city and country at that particular side. Then at the right hand side where it was written official stamp of the referred organization or notary office, below it, then that's where they place the stamp. So if it is not showing on your own documents, then that would be weird. But I know it is there, and it is also in other people's documents. So I believe you should see it. Also, you should be able to see it on your own too. How many characters are involved now to write an essay, since there are a bit changes? Thanks. Okay, Ige Oladimage, of course, none of us here is aware of I have read. Whatever the number of characters, they will definitely tell you. So that is not a problem at all. So if it is 1,000 characters, they will tell you. So, and I believe they will still code it in such a way that you can't exceed the number of characters. So if they said 1,000 characters, you see that after typing up to 1,000 characters, then the system will not allow you to type further. So you shouldn't bother. Just try to fit your tests into the characters. That's all. So once it doesn't cut, then that means it is within the limit. So, but if it is above the limit, then the excesses will be removed. So that's it. You shouldn't bother yourself much. Just watch out for instructions. They will tell you. So good evening. Please, how can I edit the reference form? Because I tried deleting the instruction section in the reference form, so it will not have excess pages from the number they require. Okay, Ubi David, you shouldn't bother yourself about deleting the instruction page. So just like I said earlier on, your major concern should be the content. Fill your forms. After filling your forms, for it to be signed and stamped, it must be printed out. You don't sign and stamp on the screen. You have to print it out before signing and stamping. So during printing, the cafe operator or whoever, if you are the one, you can always select the pages to print. So if the instruction pages are maybe page 1 to 3, and then your main work is from page 4 to 5, then when printing, you just put it there, print pages 4 to 5, and then your printer will only print page 4 to 5, excluding the instruction page. But if you don't know how to do it, you can as well print everything, including the instruction page, but then you have to take only the main thing, which is where you filled your details and answered the questions. So that is not a problem at all. You shouldn't bother yourself about deleting the instructions. Just leave the instructions that way. Try to fill your forms. Then when printing, you can do the needful. So I hope that answers your question, Ubi David. So if it answers your question, then you let me know. So Ibrahim Balas asked, can the work reference letter and work and leadership experience forms be filled and signed by different people? Ibrahim, yes, they can be filled and signed by different people. They can also be filled and signed by the same person. You get. So it doesn't matter. Same person can fill the tray, then different people can also fill, sign and stamp the tray. So it doesn't matter. The choice is yours. But for me, I feel that it is easier when only one person fills and signs all of them. So just imagine having three different people. Okay, yeah, I think for the leadership might probably come from this. I think they specified work, leadership from work experience. So if I can remember vividly, or maybe it can come from any other place. So which means another person can sign and stamp it. So it's not compulsory that the same person will sign and stamp all of them. Okay, from David again. My second question is, how can I submit my motivation letter? How can I submit my motivational letter and CV if I'm also applying for university scholarship? That is the university I apply for. That's my first choice. David, reading instructions is just the soul of this game. So every university that we send out their call for applications will always attach with it the instructions on what to do. So I believe you have to read the instructions and know what they want, and then follow their instructions, because the instructions for the individual university scholarships will definitely differ from that of SI. So what works for SI might definitely not work for the school scholarship. So it is good you read the instructions depending on your particular university. Okay, so they will always tell you what to do. And then it is also important for me to tell you that for SI this year, motivational letters no more have a form as it used to. So now you have to fill it on the portal when it opens. Unlike before that, you will have to download the template and then fill it at your own pace, just like all other documents. So at least that already differentiates it from that of other university scholarships. So, but I think if I can think in another direction, maybe you might be thinking about whether it is good to submit the same thing for SI and also school scholarship. Maybe that's what you are thinking about. Well, as much as possible, try to vary the content, but I am also sure that you can't vary it completely. You can still borrow some ideas and words from what you intend to use for your SI. Okay, so but don't try to lift everything verbatim. So remember, I once said in one of my videos that when you copy yourself, it is also plagiarism. You get? So even though you have to replicate the idea and some other points, but don't just bring everything as it is with SI, then you put it in your university motivation letter without changing anything, without adding anything. No, please don't do that. In connecting your BSc work and MSc, how can one choose a particular course he did in degree that relates to his work and then connects to his intended master's program? Wisdom Chisom, thank you very much for this question. Yeah, I think I saw on our Telegram group a thread concerning this where people were dragging about this, but because of my tight schedule, I was unable to comment. So, but then one thing is certain. Like I have always said, it is not compulsory that your BSc is the same with the intended course you want to study in your master's. It is also not compulsory that your work experience is the same with what you intend to study. So, because in my own case, I have shared this story before. In my own case, I studied electronic engineering in my bachelor's degree. Electronic engineering, remember. Then, when I was applying for admissions, I chose 4 courses, I believe you all know that. Then my first choice was wireless photonics and space engineering, although that is somehow related to, because space engineering is related to electronic engineering, though, because we have communication aspect in electronic engineering, and then that wireless aspect might relate to ICT. And then fortunately I owned an ICT company then in Nigeria, so maybe it could be related. Then the number 2 course I chose was communication engineering, and then the third one was also communication engineering, but different university. And then my fourth choice was solar energy engineering. So if you look at solar energy engineering, you see that one, it might not totally be related to electronic engineering, which I studied. 2, it is not even related to my work experience. But when writing my motivation letter, I motivated based on my first choice, even though SI would say that you can motivate on any of your courses, maybe first choice, second, third, or fourth. You can motivate using any of the choices. At least that was the case for us. That was the case for last year, 2021. So, but I don't know, it might change for your own case, but possibly there is every tendency that it will remain the same. So, but then I had to motivate on my first choice. It is, a simple logic. If I chose this as my first choice, that means that it is my highest priority, right? So I can't, say that I want something badly, and this is my priority, and then I leave it and start motivating another thing. This was the logic I used. You get, and I believe in my own thinking that it is reasonable. So if I made this my first choice, then of course I should be able to motivate on it. You get. So, and then I motivated on that wireless photonics and space engineering. In the end, I wasn't granted admission into this course because I was supposed to submit my bachelor's degree syllabus, which I tried to get from my school to no avail. Because of that, I was disqualified. So in the end, I was admitted into solar energy engineering, which happens to be my last choice, my fourth choice. But then it didn't affect my chances of getting the scholarship. So in the end, I was still selected for the scholarship, even though my motivation was not based on that solar energy engineering, even though my work experience was not based on solar energy engineering, and so on and so forth. So you can see that you can still be granted the scholarship whether or not your BSc or your work experience is based on your intended course of study in your master's program, or whether you're motivated on a certain course or not. So provided that your application is strong. So your major concern should be, just as I have been saying, try as much as you can to submit a very strong application. And submitting a strong application is general. What I mean by general is that it depends on, one, your CV, two, your motivational letter, your letters of references. They must work as a whole. You get. So, and you see that this is the problem, because what you don't have, you don't have. Okay? If you don't have enough leadership experience, you don't have. You can't manufacture it from somewhere. So if you don't have enough work experience, you don't have. So it works as a whole. Okay? Please, what's the exact sentence to use when asked about your responsibilities or tasks? This question is somehow, because when you say the exact sentence to use, I don't understand it. If you say exact, then it would mean that there are specific sentences, that are fixed. And as much as I know, there is nothing like that. So because different people will use different sentences, so it doesn't matter how you, twist your own or how you configure your own sentences. So answering this particular question will be somewhat difficult, or rather somehow. So because there is no exact sentences, if I got your question correctly. Okay, hello Ikenna. If I have already worked on 2 or more positions in same organization, which position should my referee indicate on the proof of work and leadership experience form? Okay, let me see. Yeah, this is a very important question. I love these particular questions. This person asked, you worked on, under different positions in the same company. When filling the forms, the leadership forms and the work experience forms, and what particular one will you use? Okay, there is no direct answer to this. The reason being that it depends on your situation. For example, if you see that for you to meet this limit, because the limit is that you must have worked for at least 3,000 hours. So if you see that for you to meet this limit of 3,000 hours of work experience, that you need the combination of all these positions, like the 2 or 3 of them, then you have to submit work experiences for all of them. Then, but if you think that maybe one is enough, like in my own case, I used only one, even though I also worked under many capacities, but I saw that one already has over 5,000 hours of experience. So in order not to make things complex for me, I had to use only one. Because if you try to use more, you discover that you will need more stamping, more signing, more documents and all that. And probably your head in one position might not be your head in the other position, which means that there is every tendency that you might need different people to sign and stamp, which will take you more time. So in summary, you can use all the experiences differently, or you can just choose to go ahead with only one position. You get? So it is not fixed or casted on a stone that this is how to do it. The choice is solely yours to make. You can decide to use all of them. You can decide to use only one of them. So that is it. So I hope that answers your question, Tesfaye. I hope I got your name correctly. In regards to the passport page, how will it be uploaded? Seems it can be attached with the CV. I noticed also that for this year, they no more need the passport to be attached on the CV. So no worries. Just like I said, you just have to follow the instructions, and no offense for following the instructions in the CV template that I saw for your set. So unlike what was obtainable in the past, at the last page, there was nothing said about uploading your passport page. So no need of doing so because it wasn't requested for. If they need it, I believe when the portal opens, they will ask for it to be uploaded directly on their portal. So, but if they don't ask for it on the portal also, it means they don't need it. So, and of course, I believe they might not need it because to me, it is not important. What are they doing with the passport page? It is not important. They are neither the migration officers that will decide on your permit, nor maybe the admission department that might need it for identification. So they might have thought that if you are able to get admission, then that means you have already been identified, because UA will also ask you for a mode of identification. So for them to also ask for it would be a kind of duplication, you get. So maybe they thought about this and decided, okay, let them remove it, because for you to get admission means that yes, you have been identified. So that's not a problem. Just try to read the instructions and then do it according to the instructions, whatever they say. If they ask you to upload it on the portal, then do that. If they didn't, then you should forget about it. Can the same person sign on your work experience and reference letter? Yes, of course. I'm asking about the reference letter, where to stamp exactly, because after typing, the margin drops. In that case, can you stamp after the line at bottom? Prince, I might not understand what you mean clearly. So maybe at the end of this video, you might need to show me privately. So maybe through Telegram, if you are part of our Telegram group. Mr. Ikenna, please, on the CV for the fields that one doesn't have any experience, should the whole field be deleted or heading be left and the content deleted? Okay, God's will. Of course, if you have noticed something, they said you should delete any headings that is not true for in your own case. So if you don't have any particular experience, then you have to delete everything in total. So that's not a problem. Please, when filling the reference form, we are required to fill the number of hours. My question is, are we required to show our calculations? No. You are not required to show your calculations. Just do your calculations somewhere and then write the total number. That's just what they want. Do you have any idea about how the motivation will turn out to be this time around? Prince, I have no idea, but from experience, the motivation, even though they might use different languages or different terms, you will notice that at the end, all of them will still drive at the same thing. They might use a different sentence construction from what was previously available, but if you look at it, you discover that at the end, it will still lead to what you already know. So in other words, in summary, I would advise you to probably try to look at the previous questions they asked on motivation letters, like that of 2021, you will notice that that of 2021 and 2022 are the same. They asked the same questions. So if you look at that of 2019, you see that they asked different questions. But if you should look closely, you see that in the end, all of them will still lead to the same thing. So you can try to check that of 2019, 2018, 2020, 2021, go through the questions, try to answer them. So, and then you will be fine. If I only have 2 work experience summing up to 3,000 hours and 1 leadership experience, am I good to go? Yes, you are good to go. The minimum requirement is 3,000 hours. So, and according to what they said, these 3,000 hours can be met from one job or from more than one job. So, but what they said is that it must be met in not more than 3 different jobs. So maybe you worked 1,000 hours in one job, 1,000 hours in another job, and then 1,000 hours in the third one. You can merge the 3 to meet the 3,000 hours of work experience. So, but if you meet it in one, of course, you can use only one. The choice is yours. But yeah, it's possible. You are good to go. I belong to different CSO at the same time, and I'm active in all. Will using all raise any issues? Of course, using all will not raise any issues. The reason being that CSO activities are not done every day. You get, there is no CSO that I know that do their activities every day. So it must be on some selected days, maybe once every week, once every month, or maybe every last Sundays, every last Saturdays, or thereabout. So which simply means that you can actually take part in all of them. So like in my own case, I belong to more than 5 different organizations, and then in my application I used 1, 2, 3. I think I used about four of them, and there was no issues. So it shouldn't be an issue in your own case as well. So feel free to use all of them. My question is, for my CV, should I print and scan it, then convert it to PDF, or should I convert it to PDF without printing? Thank you. So Abdulrazak Saleh, yeah, you mustn't necessarily print and scan. So there are softwares that can help you to convert directly to PDF without printing and scanning. So because for your CV, there is nothing to be signed, nothing to be stamped. So there is utterly no reason for you to print it out. Just convert it directly to PDF. It is okay. That was also what I did. I didn't print out my own CV. There is no need for that. How can I write the date in the work experience form if still in employment? Should I use 2016 to today or 20 to present, which is allowed? Okay, well, for me, I used to today. You get, I used to today, but I believe that either format are allowed, whether you use to today or to present, they are all acceptable. They will understand that what you intend, what you mean is that you are still on that job. So feel free to use any one of them. So, but for me, I used to today. Or is it to present? I can't even remember. So I can't remember, but I know I used either of the two. Please, supposing I have 1,000 hours work experience from employment and 6,000 hours from CSO, does this qualify me to apply for the scholarship? Well, as far as I know, CSOs are not a form of employment. So because it is either you are volunteering or maybe, in fact, basically CSOs are more of volunteering. So I don't think they qualify as work experience. So because, for example, if you are part of something like Red Cross or Boys Brigade and so on and so forth for over 10 years, that is not job and cannot be used as a job experience, I mean, as a work experience. So I don't think that qualifies. So the only major reason why I think they are demanding that you are also a member of a CSO is because they want to be sure that you can handle the academic stress in Sweden together with SI activities at the same time, because trust me, it is not going to be easy. So like in my first year, it was hell. Sometimes you will be having lectures and then SI will fix activities on that time, so you will be running helter-skelter like a mad person. So I think they believe that if you should be able to handle your work and this CSO, then it means you will be able to handle your studies and other things without having issues in your studies. That's what I think is their major reason why they are demanding that you belong to a CSO organization and nothing more. So don't see it as if there is any special reason. No, it's just for them to be sure that you can multitask. You get? So being a member of CSO doesn't qualify as employment. In my own understanding, I might be wrong because I know I don't know everything and can't claim to know everything. Does already having a master's degree jeopardize the chances of getting the scholarship? This is for applicants who have already declared that they are master's degree holders. Well, even though many scholars that I know who already had master's degree didn't state that they already had master's degree, but in my own understanding, I don't think it can jeopardize your chances. The only thing is that you will now have more work to do. What do I mean by having more work to do? You should be able to, convince them why you need another master's degree since you already have one. So why are you not using that one you already have? Why do you need a new one? So you should be able to convince them on this. So this is just, what I feel like, but it shouldn't in any way jeopardize your applications. So that's it. Since you already have a master's degree and you intend to state it there, then you should be able to state clearly why you need to do that second master's degree, why it is important for you, especially for your career, your professional career. All the Nigerian SI winners I know won with their fourth choice uni, okay? Yeah, of course, me, the same thing. One lady that is studying public health in University of Gothenburg, also fourth choice. So and many other people that I know as well, but of course, it's not a problem. I applied to a single university with all four choices selected. will that affect my chances of getting admission? Of course, you are an adult and should know that. So if you apply to only one university, then the risk is high. So it means that if they reject you, then you have no alternative to fall back on. Please, what makes a strong reference letter for SI? My referee asked me to write the reference letter myself while he signs and stamps. This question is somehow tricky, because the reason why I say it is somehow tricky is that when you talk about making a strong reference letter, you see that it depends on the angle you are coming from. So what basis are you placing your judgment on? So you see that there is no basics. So no reference letter can be said to be superior to the other. So, but I believe in the end, because the questions they asked there, which from my experience have never changed. I have gone through reference letter templates for more than 5 years in a row: 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, and then I noticed that the questions have been the same. It didn't change. So you see that the questions being asked there, in your opinion, how would an SI scholarship for master's studies in Sweden be valuable for the professional and academic development of the applicant? And then I noticed that nothing can be said to, be superior, just like I said, and it doesn't matter how lengthy your write-up is. In fact, in my own, I am looking at it right now, my own document, and then I saw that in one of the reference letters, while trying to answer that questions, in your opinion, then the question was just answered in one sentence only, that is not more than 2 lines. Okay, so it wasn't more than 2 lines. And then the second questions was also answered in 2 lines also. So you mustn't write a voluminous or maybe an essay to make your points. No, one line sentence is enough to prove your point, I believe. So with that said, there is no basics to refer to a reference letter as being strong or weak. So ladies and gentlemen, there are many unanswered questions, and I'm sorry that I have already elapsed my 1 hour from my time here. You will see we have already expended 1 hour, 1 minute and some seconds, and then I have to stop here because I have some other unfinished work. So like I said, I have to stop a meeting to join this live chat, and then I promised them to join back after this live chat, because we are working on a report that must be submitted tomorrow. So the report is already completed, but as a team, we are going through it collectively, because the report was divided session by session to all the team members, and then we are now trying to bring together all we have written and then try to submit it before the deadline. So I will have to stop here. If you asked your question and then I didn't get to it before time, then I will request, possibly you can also bring it up in my channel. That's the the Telegram channel or the WhatsApp group. Then maybe I can try to attempt many of them with time. It might not be today. So remember, I also work during the week. Mondays to Friday, I work. The only time I have is Saturdays, and then unfortunately, I normally use it for laundry or academic activities. So I'm usually, choked by time currently, but then just share your questions on the Telegram group. Maybe I can come around one of the times and then trying to attempt as much of them as I can. So at this juncture, I will say thank you all for making out your time to be part of this live video. So it is unfortunate that I was not able to attempt everybody's questions. So, but then you can, just like I have said, follow our other channels to relay the questions. Thank you for today and goodbye. Bye.